Today, I had a conversation with my youngest. He asked me, he said, Mom, have you seen the video going about? I said, what video is that? He was talking to me about a video that he's seen about children playing in the park, and a white parent called a young boy, 4 or 5 years old, who snatched a toy or something off her child's hand, the N word, and that people online were not so kind to her. They were calling her names, and I think he said she got doxxed. This is basically where people put all her details online, and she got told off. She got basically harassed, but it seems like she didn't care. She was adamant that she did the right thing, that the child is an N word for stealing, as she calls it. She wasn't remorseful anyway. But then people felt sorry for her because they were saying that she's been doxxed and she's been bullied online by people. That what she did was not considered racism or something. Anyway, so he told me that story. And then he said, as a result of that, people started feeling sorry for her. Well, there's one group feeling sorry for this woman, this white woman, and they started a GoFundMe page for her. And as far as you can see, at that time, it was about 230,000 being raised for her. And he said, that's scary. So I said to him, why? It was scary. What do you mean? He said, that's scary. That scares him. It makes him very scared. Because he's seen incidents on TV, he's heard about it, but this is the first time in real life where he's actually seen that there is hate and there's racism on a large scale. So I cannot ask him to explain, right? He said, well, if you look at it, somebody called a little child a racial slur. People rightly were having a go at her. Maybe they went too far or not. It makes sense. Right? But then to see that a whole nation, a whole group have come behind her and are advocating for her, don't see anything wrong in what she's done, but see the people who are calling her racist as the aggressor. They agree with her calling a 4-year-old child a racial slur. They sympathize with her so much so that they started raising money for her. That wasn't bad enough. That because sometimes people, they go through stuff and people start online and started, GoFundMe pages for people. But to see how much money is being raised so far shows that a lot of people agree with this woman. Like they agree with what she said. And they don't think she's done anything wrong. Because otherwise, why raise money for her? Why be part of that program? And that's made him see that there's a lot more people that are racist than he ever thought possible. Like, that's opened his eyes that people are really, truly racist. And that scares him. Because it could be anybody. It could be people in his school. It could be parents or friends. It could be teachers. It's just like the number is too big for him to comprehend because all he sees is the amount of money that's being raised for this woman who he sees as having done something wrong. and is being rewarded on such a large scale. So I see this kind of things as opportunity to have a conversation about, the state of the world and things that are going on. So here in the UK, we just had local elections, and I heard on the grapevine, I'm trying really hard to stay away from bad news because there's too many of them to deal with. About, you know, the right wing party controlling a council and winning seats. And it's just blown my mind that we're looking at what's going on in America. And while Australia took the opportunity to stay left, learning lessons, and Canada has done the same, right? We have gone the opposite direction. Our people looked at what's happening in America and thought, yes, that's what we want, and voted for these people to get into power. And that's scary, right? Merge that with what my son's talking about. And so we were talking about times where there are crises and people show their true colors, right? And he was like saying, every time there's less to go around, why do people always want to blame people who are just as much in need as they are? Why is it that when there's less money, there's less food, there's fight for services, the poor will blame the poor? They don't think that they're just as poor as the immigrants they're blaming. They're just as poor as, the white people, the black people they're blaming. They just think, oh, those people are taking away from us, so we're going to blame them. They don't think about talking about the politician or the elite or the rich people. They always blame people who are just as poor as they are, right? And they use something that makes them different. So it could be the color of their skin or the religion they practice or the area they live in. They just use that and they blame them. It's them that's taking our services away. It's them that's taking our money. It's because of them that we're not getting enough. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. And it was funny because he was like, it's racism, and it's like ordering someone else. Because if you think about it, if it really is about poverty, right, you will blame the rich, right? You wouldn't then go vote people that are rich into power. You wouldn't vote for people who don't want the best for you. You will vote for people who want the best for you. You will vote with people who are in the same circumstances as you, right? And say it's like, so they don't run to go and vote. They're not voting Green Party, right? They're not voting Labour, as abysmal as Labour has been since they come into power. They're still the lesser of the evils, right? Let them go green, he says. Let them vote for a party that want to give welfare money to people, party that wants to build more houses, that want to save the environment. They're not doing that. They're voting for parties that don't believe there's a problem with the environment. They're voting for parties that want to get rid of people who they think are different. So that means the only thing is because they want to get rid of people who are different from them by skin color, by race, by religion. So it's their racism. They're voting against their own interest because they don't like black people, Muslims, Eastern European, whatever. And so we had that conversation, And it was really sad because I don't I don't want my child to be scared. I don't want my child to think that, he can't trust his friends or people around him. I don't want any of that. But I also want him to be realistic and know that these inequalities are there, and there will be people that see him as a threat, and there will be people that don't like him simply from this color of his skin, simply because he's black or that he's a black boy, you know? And it's really sad that that made him scared, that incident. But we can still talk that there are people that are not like that. There are people that are fighting for equal right for everyone. There are people, that want change, that see people as people and judge you on the strength of your own character and as an individual, not as one homogenized group. So, but it's good to have that conversation, you know? So I just wondered if parents get the opportunities to have these kind of conversations with their children, and if they have, what conclusions did they come up to? What did they come up with? Did they, manage to have any insight? Did they, young people, give them any insights? Did they manage, you know, to have conversation where the expectations are managed, where the fear is managed, because there's enough to be scared of, than to add that kind of worry, to the things that young people are scared and worried about. I don't know. It's just something that I was thinking about since we had that conversation, and I'm just wondering how people have those conversations with their children in the now, in the context of what's happening everywhere now, in the context of where we are in England right now. Anyway, thanks.